All right. Hello, everybody. It looks like we are live. Good to see you guys. Let me know if you can hear me, just so I know that I'm not speaking to a wall. But it certainly looks like it's going. All right. So, hey, okay, awesome. Well, guys, I'm so excited. I can't believe we finally made it here. This is the last episode of this story arc. And I'd love to see you guys all in the chat. And yeah, I'm so excited. It's been such a long process, hours and hours and hours. But you guys have been there the whole time. And, it's really for the fans. You guys, your passion that I see in the comments, I see in your interaction, it's so wonderful and it really keeps me going. Yeah, Sullivan, I don't think I'm going to be playing any tunes today, but maybe one day I'll play some I Am a Zombie. Oh yeah, thanks Rise. I got a haircut since my last live stream. It was getting pretty shaggy and it turns out the long hair look is not for me. Alex, you're a huge fan. I appreciate that. Very happy to have you here. Cameron, good to see you as well. Maybe the guitar another time. Oh, who knows? It's probably out of tune. I could tune the guitar and just tell you about my life. All right, so I thought we could start with some fun trivia, actually. So you guys can just post in the comments. Unfortunately, there's a delay, but you'll have to be fast with the fingers to see who can answer the quickest, which comments will show up first. All right, so first, in episode 4, Feral Undead, Bert the weapon salesman, who was a character contest winner, sells a magical sword to a knight, who was also a character contest winner. What was the name of that knight, and what was the name of the sword? How well do you guys know your TLZA? Yeah, I should put up some posters in the back. It's it's pretty bland. You like my big forehead troll face? What are you doing? Dothwin. There you go, Jack. You got it. Dothwin was the name of the knight. Lightning blade. It is a lightning blade, but the blade actually had a name. I bet if Deathlord from Discord is here, he might get it. It was Beatrice. And maybe somebody wrote that down in time, but the sword was Beatrice. All right, trivia number 2. What does Jürgen offer to Joe at their first meeting? When they meet on the cart, Jürgen offers something to Joe. We'll see how your spelling is. Can you remember? Yeah, there it is, Beatrice. And then the next question, I'm just going to keep putting them out there and seeing, because there's a delay to just see who gets it. Gillyweed. It's not gillyweed, Andy. I think you're thinking of Harry Potter. Jack, you're the closest. Cedarweed. And I actually got that name. Cedar is Norwegian for swamp. So it's kind of called swampweed. Kind of a Lord of the Rings inspired there. All right. What is the name of the Galadonian knight who arrests the gang for decades of incessant plundering of royal cargo? What was the name of that knight? And here come the weed comments. So what was the name of the Galadonian knight who arrests them? Sir something. And then the next question is, what is the Slayer Queen's first name? What is the Slayer Queen's first name? Jack got it again right away. And then Alex shortly behind. Stormy Boy, good to see you. He put in a few stories of survival when we were doing that, so nice to see you around. We got Captain Kilroy. a lot of familiar names. I love to see it. Sir Quentin is correct, and he met an unpleasant end at the end of episode 4, that would be. All right, Jack, you're killing it. You're too good. You know your facts. I guess, and Jack is, he's the artist who's done so many incredible renderings of these characters. You can see a lot of those on the Discord, on my Instagram, so feel free to check those out if you haven't. But it was Rhaena, Queen Rhaena, so good job there. All right, in episode 5, there is a bad guy who is just in the credits called Lord Ironskull, but he actually had a former last name as a human. He was a noble. What was his former human name? And Gerald's last name is Carlson. Good question, Dylan. All right, so we'll see who gets Lord Ironskull. Yeah, Yoda, I don't know if it's been you the whole time, but somebody's been asking me to do Mandalorian stop motion. I would love to do a Mandalorian stop motion, honestly, but it's like I gotta kind of choose my battles, and time is so limited. So in the meantime, I'm gonna focus on the Twisted Bricks universe, but maybe at some point I'd love to. Jack, you got it again, Lord Drepson, and I see the Russian name there. I can't read Russian, so I don't know who that is. If you're someone from the Discord, let me know. But yeah, okay, if you got it, Lord Drepson. That was a little bit more obscure. If you've explored the wiki on the Twisted Bricks website, you might know that, or if you're on the Discord actively. And Alex, why is 9 episodes instead of 10? Good question. Honestly, I kind of constructed the general plot, and I knew how I wanted it to end, and I thought about doing a 10th episode as kind of a slower wrap-up, but maybe it's a combination of eagerness and just I saw that I could wrap the whole series up with 9 episodes, and that would be a good length, so I went with that. Also, some of these episodes in the second season are quite a bit longer than the first season, so I think even though it's 1 episode less, it still comes out to about the same amount of time. All right. Stranger Things would be super cool. How long do you think Gray Horizon will take, Carrie? That's a great question. I've prepared myself mentally for it to take, 2 years. I know that people have taken on projects like this and it's taken, they never get it done because it takes so dang long. But luckily I had the whole summer off to just animate, and I'm planning on animating 8 to 9 hours a day, 1,000 frames a day, and we're gonna get there. I'm very dedicated to this, so we'll get there. I did a story of survival. How did you feel about all the entries, Ron Zen? Good question. I was blown away by the entries. There were such a nice diversity to them. I'm definitely going to do another contest, and I would like to do another animation contest. I'm thinking of holding off on that until the summer, but it's definitely coming. I think those are so fun. Christian, make me one. I can only, Alex, yeah, well, that's my fault that you can only click on characters. I've actually only updated the characters so far, and I've been kind of focusing on finishing episode 9, so I haven't gotten around to making the wiki for the rest of it. But Sniker Piker on YouTube, he's been working on his own wiki with information that I've given, and he's doing an incredible job, so he probably has more on his than I have on my official website. You should do a crossover with TLZA and your new series. Let's see, Caleb, are you referring to Dark Fantasy or are you referring to Gray Horizon? I assume it's Dark Fantasy. All right, man, I'm trying to keep up, guys. I'm going to do my best. Musical Mikey, good to see you guys. Musical Mikey is the voice of Vildane and Baran, and he's played a huge role in kind of planning the story for Gray Horizon. He's one of my good friends and producers of Gray Horizon, really, and he's just helped so much. So shout out to Adam is his name. Hope you don't mind me using your first name, Adam. 1,000 frames in 8 hours. Yeah, it is very ambitious. So can I make it? We will see. There's one shot in this episode that it's like one long continuous shot near the end. It took me probably 3 hours to make, and it's only a few hundred frames because there's so much action going on. Stop motion is really just on a whole other level when it comes to time commitment. How many characters do you think will be in Gray Horizons? Cameron asked. I can tell you, it's as far as major characters go, we cast I think 7 or 8 actors for main roles. They play a really big part, and they'll be in the sequel to Gray Horizon and possibly the third one, although I'm maybe putting the horse before the cart with that many planned. But it really revolves around 3 major characters. One of them is Slade, and his existence in this timeline will make more sense when the movie comes out. The other is Iris, who is a young psychic, rather naive in her own abilities, but just a lovely character I'm very excited for. And then the third one is Hux, and he's a young kind of disillusioned soldier who he's got kind of a dark background, and you don't learn all about it until later. But man, I'm excited for that movie, you guys. It's gonna be really something. Sullivan, you say 2 seasons in a movie. Anything planned after that? I think I've maybe mentioned this before, but there's Gray Horizon, the movie. But that movie is just the first in a series of 3 movies that makes up the Void War trilogy. So this is really, I'm really planning ahead probably 10 years into the future here, if just that. But I have a story arc that will take place over 3 full-length movies, which is absolutely nuts, but that's the current plan. Chris, Dungeon Buddies. That's my good friend Chris Schrank. He is the voice of Joe, and another fellow producer. He helped with the casting of Gray Horizon. So good to see you there, Chris. Chris is certainly one of the most passionate voice actors I've ever seen. The way, when it came to Joe's death scene, Chris just had this incredible way of embodying the emotion of the scene. So shout out to Chris. Also shout out to Yellow Ranger. I see you in the chat. That's my good friend Matt Poppy. He is the voice of Slade and Corin and Bert the Weapon Salesman, and probably a couple of others that I'm forgetting, smaller, just random roles. But he's been a good friend for a long time, and has all those guys, Chris, Adam came in a little bit later, but Chris and Matt have been around since almost day 1 of this project. It's really amazing. I'm so grateful for them. All right, can you bring Matt and Slade as cameos? Maybe. Let's see. Do you know who my profile pic is? I can't tell, Caleb Bacon. It's a little bit too small for me. For the first season 1 infection episode, you said it was the 2nd episode. I know there was something made before, but why is it still number 2? Good question, Ron. It's kind of been a weird thorn in my side for a long time. This is a question from Ron Zen. The first episode was just something I made in when I was 14 years old, I think, or maybe 15, and I was still learning how to animate. It was very basic, but it actually, ended up being the start of this whole thing, and it really doesn't match in quality or style with any of the others, so it almost exists as a separate thing, but it really makes sense for it to chronologically be episode 1, so it's kind of in a weird area there, but I decided not to change the numbers. All right, Sullivan, thanks for moderating. I really appreciate it. Apparently, Matt is also going to be doing the voice acting for the female role in our upcoming movie. Thank you for letting me know, Matt. It's good that you're keeping me in the loop. A few bad guys. I'm trying to remember. Matt, do you remember their names? Was that in the first season or this? Oh yeah, he did. Matt did the voice for Sir Quentin. So the voice of Slade is also the same as Sir Quentin. He's got quite the dynamic range. Hey, Johan is here. Fantastic. Johan S. That's my literal brother, and he has truly been around since day one. He's been working on the soundtrack, and it's so amazing. To me, I'm just amazed every time he comes out with the soundtrack. I finish the episode and I give it to him and I just say, "Hey, work your magic," and he does it. He's so clever with the way he comes up with themes for characters. Like, Matt has Slade has his own theme. The sorcerer has his own kind of dark, twisted theme. And Johan and I are so excited. In this episode 9, it's probably the best soundtrack episode that we've ever made. He brings in these themes from prior episodes, these callbacks, kind of musical callbacks, blends them all together. It's so incredible, and I'm so grateful to have him on the team. Favorite character is Gerald and Jenny. Nice. Oh, Alex, that's a great question. Do you have any regrets in the series? This isn't really a regret, but sometimes I wish that I could have kept the quality consistent. I could have just started off with high quality and then kept it high quality, but instead, the way it is, and this is just the way it goes, is, if you look at the first episode of season 1 versus the last episode of season 2, the quality, it just changes dramatically, which, I don't know if it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a very natural progression, but that's just how it goes. Any other regrets? I suppose, there were some things I wonder about, like Samael the Wicked, the episode where Gerald saves Jenny. I wish I could have given a little bit more context and history to what happened in that, in the tomb. This is episode 6, the tomb. But, I guess it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of mystery involved. I'll let you know if I think of any other regrets, because I'm sure there are some, but overall I'm quite happy. Where did you get the Slade face? The Slade face is from Dino Attack, the Dino Attack theme. What made you start YouTube? Honestly, I don't even think it was Lego videos. I think I might have started with Nerf war videos, just making action films where we're shooting at each other with Nerf guns. And some of you who have been around the whole time might remember those, but those were quite fun. Okay. Will there be a season after this season? Question by B&B Studios. There will be a movie after the season, in case you missed the news. Actually, a movie trilogy is the plan, so we will see. Will they be able to time travel back to the present zombie apocalypse? Great question. I'm sure it's a question that a lot of people are wondering. And Roman asked the same thing. Please read. I'm going to let the video speak for itself. And I do want to let you guys know there is some mystery to the end of the video. There are some questions you may have. You might be a little confused. There is a lot of showing and not telling, kind of a almost montage at the end. And I don't want to just I guess I want to paint you a picture, but I don't want to spell it out for you. So I hope you guys like the ending. I hope it's satisfying. But it's also, do know there will be some mystery to it. There will be some things that you probably don't, questions you don't get answered, but that's the way it is. All right. Sorry if I'm missing any questions. Sometimes it refreshes and I miss a little bit. David Woomer, I'm going to be loving that episode 9 of the LEGO series of yours, sir. Thank you, David. I appreciate that so much. Dylan draws, is the wizard in the medieval zombie apocalypse that started the virus, does he have any connection to the aliens in the first season? Yes, he does. He has a very direct connection of sorts, and that will be answered. That question is kind of answered in the Forbidden clip that I only shared with my patrons. And I will reveal that when I publish the entire thing as a full movie. So that will be what starts the movie. What's your favorite LEGO theme? That's a great question, and the first thing that pops into my mind is Alpha Team. And I think maybe not even because it's the best quality theme, but it got me so into LEGO. I don't know if you guys remember Alpha Team, but it had this great villain, Evil Ogle was his name, had these epic heroes, and almost like an A-team setup, and such cool vehicles. And they went on for, it started off as the original, and then they had an underwater theme. and a few others, like Frozen Tundra theme. Alpha Team were the coolest Legos. I loved them so much. Thank you, Sullivan. Fun to see progression through the animation quality. You know, and one of the things that I think is most life-bringing to me about this series is hearing from you guys about how I inspired some of you to start animating. It's so wonderful, and maybe that helps. Is, you know, people can see how I started, which is quite basic, and then they can see where it led and understand that you can do that as well. Does Gerald have a connection to Slade? Yeah, people have asked that ever since I did this thing with the scars over his face. And all I'll say about that is it was more of a symbolic choice than a biological choice, I guess. Super Pizza Games, Super Pizza, you like those guitars, huh? What did you study in college to make you have great stories and plots? Because I want to be a writer myself. Great question, Dalen. I appreciate that. I actually studied, and you know, I've wondered about, do I regret this? I studied biology. Started off as environmental studies, and then I switched to biology. One of my favorite classes was science and religion, which it was about as weird as it sounds, but I just became kind of, I think my interest in biology and in, you know, living things, weird organisms, fungus being one of my favorite, it just made me look at the world in different ways and wonder about possibilities. And, you know, much of what I write about, I think stems, or at least has origins in my questions about science and religion and, you know, what is meaningful. And in such a weird world, how dark can things get, but how good can things get? I don't know if that makes any sense, but, you know, that's where I think the substance for my writing comes from. I've always enjoyed creative writing, and I actually thought about being an English major when I first went to college, but I never pursued that. Musical Mikey, how can I support the channel while waiting for the movie to come out? Great question. So you can, of course, always become a patron. I've been a little bit slow with posts on that, but I do try to offer some exclusive content. The soundtrack is on there, and you know, some other high-definition files, some tutorials. So you can certainly do that. A little bit later in the summer, I am going to start a GoFundMe or something like that for the movie once I have a little bit of footage for it. So if you want to just hold off, you can do that. If you want to buy merchandise on my website, you can sure do that, twistedbricks.com. Hopefully there's something on there you like. That's probably the best way in the meantime. But if you don't, you know, I know a lot of you guys, you're not, you don't have a disposable income, and that's totally okay. Just keep watching, watch new videos as they come out. That's all you got to do. And like and comment, because it does help. Thank you for asking that. Salty Pringle Chip, do you have any interest in buying the newish medieval blacksmith idea set? Of course, I do. I have interest in buying so many sets that I don't buy. You know, most of my budget goes to equipment and to buying specific pieces from Bricklink. So probably not going to make that purchase. You should make the story and all the art for him. Oh, yeah, that was a Sullivan to Jack. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what Jack does in the future, and we've chatted about some very exciting ideas regarding a two-dimensional medium representation of TLZA. So we'll see where that goes in the future, but it's all the stuff he's done so far have been incredible. All right. Will Gerald return in the Void Wars trilogy? I'm not going to answer that. Captain Kilroy, I'm glad that I inspired you. I appreciate that. All right. Do you watch anime? As somebody else said, I do love a few anime. Full Metal Alchemist is great. Hunter is so dang good. I love Hunter x Hunter. Oh, what are some others? Attack on Titan is pretty excellent. One Punch Man, you know, some of the more well-known ones, but I do really enjoy anime. Do you feel that some of the plots in the seasons are weird, pointless, or bad? Thank you, Fat Potato Guy. Yeah, like I said, the thing with Samael and the statue that they take down, it's kind of, it kind of takes from the main plot in some ways. It seems like it doesn't fit as well. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you like that? That episode was also a great way for me to experiment with slow motion animation, so I can't say I regret it because I think it's quite an exciting episode, but maybe I could have made some changes there. And I was not a perfect writer. I've been learning how to write, as I make these things. So there are some things that don't flow as smooth as maybe they could have, but I don't know. It still seems to be doing all right, I guess. I do like tacos, be a nugget taco. All right. Have you heard of Brick Warriors? Yes, I actually have ordered some pieces from Brick Warriors for the Gray Horizons. So they've got some cool stuff. Will we find out what happened to Russ? I promise you will find out what happened to Russ, all in good time. I appreciate you all for sticking around too. We're gonna have this episode is gonna come out in 10 minutes now, so stick around, and this live stream should redirect you all automatically at the end. All right. I wonder if I can change. It says that the streaming resolution is not optimal, but let me know if I'm glitching or if there's some kind of problems there. Do you like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? It's my new Sullivan. My cousin is really into JoJo, and I've never watched it, but it looks so interesting. It's really high on my to-watch anime. Let's see. What's your best Yu-Gi-Oh card? Well, probably the rarest one I have is it's Thousand Eyes Restrict PSV first. I think you can see that PSV first edition. It's one of my favorite cards. I just love how weird and twisted Thousand Eyes Restrict is. Any fans of Yu-Gi-Oh will hopefully understand that, but I won't belabor you all with my Yu-Gi-Oh collection. Who's your favorite stop motion animator or YouTube? That's a really good question. God, I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't spend enough time watching other YouTubers, and that's probably my own bad. But Forest Fire is of course good, although I feel like he's the go-to answer. There's a French YouTuber called what is his name? His name is Maxime Marion, and I can't remember what his channel name is. It eludes me, but he did a video called Plastic Love that was quite famous in the brick filming community. So I really respect him. All right, sorry, I'm just looking at I'm probably not going to be able to change the resolution during this, so oh well, hopefully I don't glitch too much for you guys. Oh, Yellow Ranger. Christian, you should have all the cast get together over Zoom or something for a script read of an earlier episode. That would be a ton of fun. I would actually really enjoy that. Not a bad idea at all. Oh, Sullivan, glad to hear it looks fine on your end. Yodo, Christian, what's your favorite movie or series? It's a cliche, but Lord of the Rings is so good. It really was, clearly has a big inspiration in the second season. I love The Matrix as well. Just anything that really is mind-bending, I'm a huge fan of. What was the Interstellar? It was so mind-blowing. Anything that's got a good twist, I really do love. That is one regret I have, actually. I wish I had put more twists and turns in the plot. I'm afraid it's a little bit predictable at times, and I would have loved to have some crazy, mind-blowing twists. Do you watch Demon Slayer? I have. I actually only got 6 episodes in. I need to continue that. Demon Slayer is great. Oh yeah, VPLO Studios is fantastic, and he's getting so good, so much better with each project he does. It's really amazing. Christian, if you wanted to come up with a new series of ideal mutations, do you think you'd include some with sort of acid? Actually, I've spent more time thinking about the biology of the slag. That's the technical term for it now. And they do produce something called AC. It's a fluid, and that's what is responsible for directly infecting people. And I might go more into that with Gray Horizons or maybe with the in-between video, but that's a great question. Fly, you fools. I have seen Zombieland. I haven't seen the sequel, but I've seen the first one. It's great. Yeah, Rise, like as I said, I have heard of VPLO Studios, and I actually chatted with him a little bit on Instagram. Very cool guy, and he's got some good stuff coming. Subscribe to him if you haven't, because he'll have some pretty incredible stuff. Will the characters that died return? I'm not gonna go into that. Sword Art Online, Mr. Prawn. That was one of the first anime that I became obsessed with. I didn't watch it until I was in college. But this is a very fond memory I have of it was me and probably 2 or 3 of my best friends. We just started watching that on a regular basis, and it was a really fun kind of community anime viewing. Do you like zombie apocalypse movies / post-apocalyptic movies? I do. I don't watch them too much anymore. I'm trying to think of some of my favorites. There's one that's really good called Spectre. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, and I don't know if it could be qualified as apocalyptic, but it appears that like ghosts have taken over this town, and the military is trying to fight them. It's kind of a hidden gem, I think. So if you haven't heard of it, Spectre is really good. I have not heard of the show Dr. Stone. Is Russ ever coming back? We will see more of Russ. No problem. Don't worry about that. Musical Mikey says the blind guy is one of his favorite side characters. I'm sure that's not biased at all as the voice of him. I do love Baran. He is absolutely wonderful. Let's see. Here's a little more trivia for you guys. We're almost at the start of the premiere, but what organization does the General and Jenny work for? This is actually some extremely obscure TLZA knowledge, but does anybody know the acronym or the full name of the organization that the General and Jenny work for? Jack Bauer, I know you're going to know it, so I guess I can't keep you from answering. That's fair, but I know you're going to know it. And then my last question is, what is Joe's last name? And again, if you've been on the wiki, you might know this. What is Joe's last name? The Epic Mulder Kids, are you adopted? That's such a funny question. I'm not adopted, but thank you for asking. At least I don't think I am. And I really resemble my mother, ironically, so I don't think anybody's lying to me. All right, Jack Bauer, you got it. It's a TCF, Terror Control Force. Jack, yeah, you can't stop Jack. Joe's last name is Vogel, Joe Vogel. It's not Joe Mama. That's funny. Nicely done, Lewis. Fusion Fall, I do not know what that is. Thank you again for moderating, Sullivan. I appreciate it. And Cameron, I appreciate it. Is slag a fungus, though, because cladistics? You know your science. Slag is not technically a fungus. In biology, it most closely resembles a fungus, but it is in fact something that really defies human classification. And I do want to restrain myself from revealing too much about the origins of slag, because that will come later, but it's a fun one. It's gonna be weird. I can tell you that much. Jack, yes, you are on fire. Yellow Ranger, vill du gå ut med mig? Ja. All right, guys, 2 minutes. I think I'm gonna end the stream here in a second so that we can all be redirected and not miss it. But this has been so much fun. I love you guys, I really do. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna keep making this stuff for as long as I have the energy to, and I anticipate that will be quite a long time. So thank you guys so much for attending this live stream, and I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you there. All right, I'm ending the stream.